Hello and welcome to Work Profiles. I'm your host Luke Muggerman and this is episode 2 as we speak to the National Work Health and Safety Manager for Drake International, Steve Fletcher. But before we do, we recently had visiting from the West, Alan Carroll, our resident software engineer, and we thought we'd take the opportunity to speak to Alan and get an update on the rewrite and see how that's going. So sit back, relax and listen to Alan's update on that, and followed by a chat with the National Work Health and Safety Manager for Drake International, Steve Fletcher. Enjoy.
Thanks, Luke. Good to be here on episode 2 of the Work Profiles. Really enjoyed myself this week, and I'm glad I could bring some nice fine weather to you guys from WA.
Absolutely, no, we enjoyed that. So, Alan, I wanted to find out and get you to explain in very simple terms, because I'm not a technical person, and I don't think a lot of people are. But at the end of the day, what does this rewrite actually mean? And more importantly, what is it going to allow our customers to be able to do?
Yeah, sure. Look, for us, really, the rewrite means that we're essentially rebuilding parts of our system into a brand new environment while we maintain our old system. And as we migrate more and more services, you'll see the look and feel and user experience of our systems change for the better, of course.
Yep, for sure. And so what are some of those benefits that our customers will enjoy? Like what will change, or what will they be able to do that they can't already do with the system?
Yeah, so we need to make sure that we keep providing the best services to our customers and keep up to date with the latest technology trends as well. We're also very conscious of protecting the private information that we store, so it's really important for us to keep up to date with the latest security trends and technologies to protect our users' information.
Absolutely, I think that's very important. I mean, you only got to look at the prevalence of cyber security and the amount of identity theft that is occurring, and people are very conscious of that now, given that we live a lot of our lives online. And so I guess what you're saying is our customers and the million of them that we have and users have nothing to worry about when it comes to their identity or their personal information being used in any other way other than it's intended.
Yeah, exactly right. Like,
terrific. And so I guess, and technology does continue to evolve. It has been, we're into our 10th year, and it is the same platform for which it has always been. The rewrite as far as the transitioning, and this week we saw the first phase of that rolled out with regard to the police checking process.
Yes, to some of our key customers, that's right, yep.
Yep, and that's gone largely well and without hitch.
Yep.
And is that the same, or can we expect, and throughout the course of the year going forward, as we continue to roll out the different elements of the processes, is that, how's that going to look, and what sort of order, and when can our customers expect those added functions?
Yeah, look, I mean, we very much expect that, from here on in our deployments of new services for our customers and candidates will be much easier from our perspective. We've had to do a lot of work on the foundations of our new system, which is stuff that we don't have to do when we start delivering more services such as our visa checks and inductions and license management. So the exact time frames and order of services we're not set on at the moment. We still, we want to meet customer demand, so we don't want to lock ourselves into any particular priority of services. But we'll be rolling out the new services in sort of 2 to 3 month increments over the next sort of 6 to 12 months.
Terrific. And as far as that's concerned, and this is probably more of a question for our marketing department, as we gain feedback as to how they're affected, and suggestions as to how it could be improved. I guess at the end of the day, they're going to be the ones using it. So, is there any what is the process, or what do we have in mind as far as gaining that sort of feedback?
Yeah, sure. Look, we'll be introducing a feedback channel through a software solution called HunchBuzz. And this will enable customers to provide feedback on new services through the crowdsourcing platform. But more importantly, I mean, we're here on the ground, and I've also taken calls from candidates and clients this week while I've been in the office, and that's really the best way we get feedback from our users is we're here, we're taking the calls. When people have questions or queries about how things work, we're here to help make that process easier, and any of that feedback that we get goes into the next process of developing our systems.
Terrific. And I guess technology is always evolving, and what sort of future, and I know this is pie in the sky stuff to a large extent, but it's amazing in my short time how much WorkPro has evolved, and we all talk about the rate of change in technology in particular, but where do you see, what's your future plans as far as where WorkPro could go in terms of the added functionality and where it could work and be applied and all the other good things that we do in terms of further assisting our clients with regard to their way they engage their workers?
Yeah, look, one of the big goals of this rewrite is to make it easier to build integrations with other solutions and our partners as well. And this will be one of the biggest changes to our system that will mean you'll be able to work from more systems and from more solutions and integrate with different HR payroll systems to make your lives easier. We'll also be working with partners and clients to help build integrations with their own internal systems if they so wish.
Right, I think that's important. It's a question I get a lot now, more so than ever, about integration and automating as much as possible the way our system can talk to their current system. So I think people are more and more busier, getting busier, and so anything that can help or assist them with regard to how they go about that will be great. So look, and we haven't got much more time, Alan, but I appreciate you giving us this update.
More than happy to.
Yeah, and so just before we go, what are some of, and we might have touched on that earlier, but I want you to ram home a bit, what the benefits are our customers and candidates will enjoy after the rewrite.
The list of benefits to our customers and candidates is going to be quite extensive. Not only are we improving the experiences and processes, but we'll also be in a more agile position to respond to changes in the industry and also to the requests of our customers and candidates. We'll, as mentioned before, we'll be expanding our integration with third parties for various services. We want to make it easy to access your data in a nice, secure way, so you can work with it better when dealing with compliance. We'll also be adding additional services as well, so watch out. We're coming through with some great new services this year, extending from our police checks, visa checks, and license management, as well as our induction. So it's a really exciting time in the evolution of WorkPro, and I'm excited to be lucky enough to be a part of it.
Terrific. And you currently reside in Western Australia?
That's right, 3 hours behind at the moment.
Yep, and about 10 years.
Yeah.
But you are, I believe, looking at making the move across to the eastern seaboard, across to Melbourne.
That's correct, yep.
And I was only listening to Tanya the other day, how she said you and your partner were over conducting some research about where the best place to live might be.
That's right, yeah.
And I thought that was quite funny, actually, but most people, close to schools, public transport. What, given that you're a young fella with, no, major responsibilities in this time in life, what are you, what sort of things do you look at when looking at a place to live?
Well, funnily enough, one of the biggest things we look at is the local caravan park. At the moment, as we come across, we'll be looking to buy, but as part of the trek over the Nullarbor, we'll actually be living in the caravan for anywhere from 3 to probably about 4 or 5 months. So
really,
good caravan park is a necessity as a start. Also, the other thing is a good golf course as well. I'll be pushing to introduce a golf corporate day as well, but
Nice.
don't tell Tanya that at the moment. She's not sure. She's not aware of that one. So a good golf course is a must as well. But also looking for places that have a nice big Bunnings store. And also something like City Farmers. We've got 2 huskies that just rip through toys like there's no tomorrow. So we're at pet shops quite a bit.
Right, very good. Well, you have no problem finding a Bunnings and the like over in Melbourne. It's definitely a great place to live. It's where it's all happening. So I'm glad you're coming over to join us, AK. And no, you're right. I've really appreciated that update. I'm sure our clients and our users would love to hear the good things that we're doing, and we look forward to talking to you more, perhaps down the track as further things unfold.
More than happy to.
Terrific. Thanks, AK.
Thanks, Luke.
Hello, Steve.
Hi, Luke. How you going?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good, and welcome to Work Profiles. Very excited today to be having a chat about all the good things work health and safety. You, of course, being the National Work Health and Safety Manager at Drake. And for those of you that don't know, Drake is, of course, one of the world's biggest recruitment agencies and have been around for some 70 years. But if I can ask Steve, firstly, as to getting a bit of background on yourself and how it is that you come to land in the job as Work Health and Safety Manager at Drake.
I started with Drake in a sales role just over 5 years ago when I moved up from Melbourne to the Gold Coast. Previous to working at Drake, I gained a diverse range of industry experience in various different roles.
Yep.
That ranged from landscaping through to construction, the finance industry, and also into the insurance industry as well. And then I started to develop a passion for safety through my sales role.
Yep.
And I started being trained by the then National Safety Manager whilst I was doing my safety qualifications. Once I'd gained those qualifications, I'd moved into the safety team officially. And when the manager left at the time, I took over the management of the Drake Safety Division. That was just over 2 years now.
Okay, excellent. And
then since taking over this role, I've sort of been continuously developing the internal and external safety programs.
Oh, excellent. And no doubt you would have seen a lot of changes in safety over the years?
Yeah, safety's come a long way, especially over the past sort of 4 or 5 years. The new WHS harmonisation laws that's in place across most of Australia, that came back in 2012.
Yep.
And WA is expected to change over to that new model sometime this year. So that's made the management of safety much easier for companies to understand, especially for those who had interstate officers, where previously they were working under all the various different state legislations. Now working under the harmonisation model, it's made it a lot easier for them to create some cohesion between their different branches.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And New Zealand's also looking at implementing a similar model to the Australian harmonisation laws.
Yep.
Which is great. And that suggests to me that the harmonisation laws have shown a very positive difference within Australia around protecting the safety of our workers.
Yeah, fantastic. How important is safety at Drake?
Yeah, safety is a very important part of what Drake does, which is like it's been the case for well over 60 years now. And when dealing with people, many variables can occur, especially around their safety. So Drake International has a dedicated safety team, which is obviously known as Drake Safety, which completes a whole range of services for our clients, like everything from safety inductions, safety auditing, WHS management systems, injury prevention and management, right through to WHS training and consultancy services. The entire Drake team understands both the legal and compliance responsibilities, but also the moral responsibilities that we have towards our contractors, health and also certified to the Australian Standard 5801. So where we need to demonstrate compliance to this standard, which is done through a series of external audits on an annual basis.
Lovely. And look, managing safety can be a complex thing. I imagine that given the vast nature of the labour hire industry, your job's probably even more complex given the amount of roles and the amount of people and the different sites for which your guys are placed. How does Drake manage safety in regard to that?
Yeah, you're right. Having been in the recruitment sort of industry, all of our contractors, they could go to a whole range of different type sites, different sizes, different levels of risk. And that's where, I guess, the labour hire industry is a lot different to like manufacturing or even construction, because things change on a constant basis, and managing the health and safety around that can be challenging at times. But we've got a lot of programs in place, like starting right from the induction process, so we're training our people before they even go out on site, right through to completing site inspections at the host employer sites, and running regular training around our contractors' health and safety. The injury management process within the recruitment industry, again, can be very tricky, just due to the sort of vast nature of what we do.
Yep.
But we've implemented some new and streamlined processes within the injury management space that's definitely shown some positive trends in reducing our LTIs and also the other important safety-related KPIs as well.
Terrific. And can I ask your host employers, do they have the same, respect for the safety in their workplaces?
Yeah, I've seen a big shift within our host employers around their safety components. And a lot of them, I guess 5 years ago, it wasn't one of their main priorities, but there has been a definite shift, and now they're starting to look at safety before they even look at placing candidates out there or even employing new people. So it's made a big difference, and that has led to them sort of increasing the safety levels and reducing their injuries within their workplaces as well.
Fantastic. And has that been evidenced by a reduction in the amount of injuries that you see out on site?
Yeah, we've seen a dramatic reduction in both internal, like with our contractors, the injury rates there, and also within companies that I work with, they've also indicated that they've had a reduction in their injury rates as well because of the changes in their safety practices, which is great to see.
Great to hear. No, congratulations. That's just fantastic. I guess, and there's some good news stories, but I'm tipping that you've seen some pretty bad safety examples during your time. Have you got any ones you can give us? Any stories about, without naming names, of course, but got any examples?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of poor safety practice examples over the last 5 years.
Yep.
I guess one that comes to mind was a recent incident that I came across where the company was just doing some simple renovations to their factory area.
Yep.
And they just wanted to add an internal doorway into a wall. Unfortunately, the wall was made of cement sheeting. And they cut the door in using an angle grinder, which created a lot of dust and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Following a call from one of our local branch managers who had received a complaint from a contractor that's saying that there was a lot of dust created within the working area that they were in.
Yep.
From that, we had to start an investigation into the incident, and it was assumed that the material didn't contain asbestos. When I was dealing with the employer at the time, they pretty much told me that there was no asbestos in there at all.
Yeah.
However, when I requested some further evidence, they ended up sending a sample away, and it came back that it did actually contain asbestos.
Uh-huh.
Now, the most important part of that was asbestos is often overlooked, primarily because it's a risk that you can't really see.
Yeah.
It's not like forklift movement or using a ladder or anything like that. However, by workers being exposed that sort of substance can have a dramatic impact on their health and safety, but you may not see the effects of that for years.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
that was just like one example that was a little bit different. But yeah, I've seen a lot of very unsafe workplaces over the years.
Yeah, no doubt. And I guess, and you spoke earlier of the change in culture and safety becoming more of a focus. Can you give us a practical example then of how a proactive approach towards health and safety has resulted in, good outcomes?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right, a lot of companies were treating safety in a very reactive manner. But I have also seen a shift towards a proactive approach to health and safety, which is great.
Yep.
For example, I've been working with one client who manufactures chemical products, and they generally thought that their safety practices on that site were excellent. The owner approached me to basically conduct a WHS audit for them, just to make sure. And the main driver for that was that he was worried about the financial implications if he was breaching their WHS responsibilities. Now, during that audit, I identified 32 areas that could have potentially put their workers at risk, right, and also exposed the company to breaching the Act.
Yep.
The senior management group of that company implemented most of the recommendations that were made within a matter of a few weeks, and they're already planning to address all of the remaining 3 issues, and they were quite significant issues.
Yeah.
And they've also engaged me to conduct a surveillance type audit for them, just to make sure that the control measures that they put in have been implemented correctly and that the workers are following those. So it was a great example of a proactive approach to it from the senior management group. Now, that's taken a lot of effort from the company to change the culture within the company to a more proactive approach towards safety.
Yeah.
But their workers have now become engaged, and the WorkSafe is, within a very short time, has become a much safer place to be.
Oh, that's great. That's good news story, and great to hear senior management, I guess, now taking those safety issues very serious. And so, Steve, just finally, I was hoping you might be able to talk about how the use of WorkPro within Drake has helped with regard to how you deliver, track, and manage these processes. Because I think, as you mentioned, it's one thing to deliver, but it's another to ensure that it's being carried out. And refresher training is given, if you like, after a period of time. So how has that helped your processes?
Yeah, we found that a lot of the health and safety induction sort of training material was very lacking, and a lot of our clients believed that the induction process was pretty much showing a new employee just around the factory, introducing them who would be supervising them, and that was about the extent of their induction. And that's an important part of it, but it didn't provide them with job-specific induction material, where WorkPro has provided our consultants and our contractors with a flexible method of providing that relevant safety information. And it makes them fully aware of what possible risks that they might encounter when they're out on that site, before they even get out to their host employer's site. We've also got some clients who require some police checking or background checks, that sort of thing, and using WorkPro for these services as well has made the whole process much easier for our own staff and also for our contractors.
Terrific. No, well, that's good to hear. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Steve. It's great to get, I know you, we've obviously had a lot to do with each other over the last couple of years, and your passion, I think, for work health and safety is undeniable. You're always trying to, think of ways in which you can further ensure the safety of your people, and I think you've really, and today's discussion has evidenced that passion and the outcomes that you're achieving. So congratulations, keep up the great work, mate, and thanks for your time, and we look forward to speaking again soon.
No worries at all. Thanks a lot, Luke.
Thanks, Steve. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
So there we have it for episode 2. As we do at the end of each episode, we'll have a bit of a wrap-up and discuss a couple of key learnings or takeaways. And for me, I think the first one from Steve there was to be proactive. I think with safety, as with most things, prevention's always better than cure. So if you can get in place processes and procedures that can deter or prevent things from happening, that's always better than having a reactive approach to something going wrong. So, and that obviously starts with an induction. So would invite anyone listening who hasn't perhaps yet got an induction in place that they can do so by going to workpro.com.au. We've got a broad course library of work health and safety inductions that being online are very easy to deliver, as Steve said. So that'll be the first one. The second one, I think Steve pointed out too, was just to try and have everybody on board with it, as he's been able to do with a few of his clients. Easier said than done, I realise, but there are ways in which he and other work health and safety people ensure that safety is really considered by everyone from the top down. So I think those were the two key takeaways this week. Thanks for joining us again. We look forward to seeing you for episode 3, which is only a couple of weeks away. Thank you and see you then.